On the drive to Patterson, I think about the 9 Halflinger horses that I will be taking care of during the summer. I know every one of their names, their ages, and the birthdays of some of them. I know how hard to work them, how much to feed them, when to water them. I especially know where they like to be brushed. As a stableman, I will be in charge of their upkeep, which includes keeping their stable clean the way Harry likes it to be kept, which is to say spotless. Prospective students and their parents are always coming in to see the ponies, and Harry wants to make sure the stables and the ponies are perfect. I am that way naturally, so I am perfect for the job. But it is not just physical upkeep that I will be doing. As the stableman, I will be in charge of the pony's well-being. I will determine when a pony should be fed and watered and rested. I will be consulted by the instructors and therapists on which pony is best suited for a child with a particular disability. The truth is that all the ponies are trained to be comfortable around kids with all kinds of disabilities. Visually or hearing impaired, kids with autism, kids with cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, spinal bifida, Down syndrome, attention deficit disorder, it doesn't matter. The ponies are always peaceful and even-tempered. The trick, as Harry pointed out to me, is not in picking out which pony will be most comfortable with the kid, but in picking which pony that kid will like the most. Harry thinks I have a knack for this. You are really looking forward to your job as stableman, aren't you? I heard Aurora ask me. It is not like Aurora to ask me unnecessary questions. Of course I am looking forward to the summer job, just like I am looking forward to my last year at Patterson. The job of a stableman will continue into next year. Only next year I will be involved not just with the upkeep of the ponies and the stable, but with the actual training of the ponies. Fritzy will be ready to be trained in early fall. It is an unbelievable process to take these ponies and get them accustomed to anything and everything a disabled child can do. No amount of noise or discomfort or even pain will cause them to hurt a child if they are well trained. This is why the possibility of attending Oak Ridge High is so troublesome. I cannot be allowed to happen. Arturo needs to be convinced that the best way for me to be like everyone else is to continue at Patterson, where I can learn at my own pace, where I am learning to make decisions, becoming responsible and independent, all the things he wants me to be. Aurora knows the answer to that question. Why does she ask? It is possible that my words sound rude, but with Aurora I am at ease and speak in a natural way. It is just that, she pauses. A pause in the middle of a sentence. I have learned that in my social interaction class at Patterson can mean that the person speaking is about to say something that might hurt the feelings of the listener. In my chest, I felt a twang, a discordant note, like when the string of a guitar breaks in the middle of a song. Arturo. I mean to form this as a question, but unable to do so. Aurora does not answer. I do not pursue it. We are entering the Patterson grounds, and I always make it a point not to talk as we enter Patterson. I have been coming here since first grade, and I still get a sense that here is a place where I will not be hurried. To the left, as you enter the long driveway, is a set of one-story brick buildings that touch each other like a crossword puzzle that has only been partially completed. Sidewalks connect the buildings, and you can tell that even from afar that it would be easy for someone in a wheelchair or someone who cannot see to navigate one building to another. To the right, as you drive in, are playing fields of various sizes and shapes. Large oaks and elms line the edge of the field so that in the summer you can walk around the edge and never leave the shade. In back of the playing fields are the stables and the riding tracks. Aurora parks the car in the parking lot closest to the stables and we get out. Jane, one of the therapists, is leading Gambolino and a little girl I don't recognize around the oval track. The large circular track is empty. When summer session starts in a few days, the tracks will be bustling with instructors, therapists, kids, and volunteers. The day will start at 8 and go until 6 in the evening. I see Harry in front of the bar, waving at us. Come, I want to show you something, he yells. I begin to run. Aurora speeds up. I already know what he wants to show me, so I run past him into the barn. Inside one of the stalls is a newly born pony sucking at the teat of its mother, Frida. He was born yesterday in the middle of the night. Didn't even have to call the vet. Out he came, easy as the morning sun. He is so beautiful, Aurora says. I am stunned. I have seen newly born Halflinger ponies before, but this one is sweet. Sweeter than sweet. I wanted to call you last night so you could be here, but he came so sudden. When I checked at 11, all was fine. Frida was breathing and a little heavy, but I thought for sure the pony was a week or so away, like the vet said. Then at midnight, I heard some barking, and it's Romulus telling me something's up. And there's a little fellow halfway out, head first and all. Romulus is a German shepherd that my Uncle Hector gave to Patterson. He is sitting down next to the Frida's stall, guarding the little fellow. Romulus and I look at each other until he winks at me with both eyes. Have you named him yet? Aurora asks. Oh gosh, The kids named him ever since we mated Fred and Frida. Following with the general Prussian theme, it will be Fritzi. I would have been Frederica had he been a she. Fritzi, I say out loud. I would have preferred something more like Shanny, short for Shannon. Good Irish name, Aurora says, but Halflingers are originally from Prussia. The Amish use them in America, I pointed out, and as good a working horse as any and better than most. They'll plow your field all day long and into the night, perfect for these kids, with their backs broad enough for easy balancing and their centers low to the ground. May I sit with Frida for a while? I ask. You may, Harry answers quickly. She is still a little under the weather. It will do her good to have you next to her. I open the door to the stall and go in softly and sit near where Frida is laying down, her knees folded. Fritzi is looking for another teat to suck. I sit close enough to her head and touch her, but I don't touch her. There is no need to touch animals unless they ask you to do so, by the various ways that they can communicate by coming to you, or by lifting their heads towards you, or by the way they look at you. I close my eyes and fold my arms and breathe the smell of the hay and of Fritzi. In the distance, I hear Aurora ask Harry if she can come talk to him for a few minutes. On the drive home, I sense that something unhappy is about to happen, and my mind is trying to find the source of this foreboding. Aurora asks if I'm okay, and she's waiting for a response, but I ignore her question and remain silent. Aurora doesn't ask again. She knows that if I want to, I will speak in my own time. We are halfway home now, and I identified what this strange feeling feels like. It is like when you are going down a staircase in the dark and you don't know where the last step is. I have also managed to pinpoint the origins of the feeling. I remember Aurora telling Dr. Malone that Otero wants me to attend Oak Ridge High for my senior year. I remember her pause in the middle of the sentence when we were talking about working at the stables. I remember Aurora asking Harry if she could talk to him for a few minutes. I notice so many details of what is happening and remember just about all that I notice, even though sometimes it seems that if I'm not paying attention, what is hard for interpreting all the details that hit my brain at once. But sometimes I can do that, like right now. What I gather from all that I have noticed is that my plans for next year are about to change. When we are almost home, Aurora says, "Are you remembering?" Remembering is the word that Aurora and I use to refer those moments when I am listening to the I'm, or reciting in my mind a passage from one of those holy books I like to read. When I was a child and prone to tantrums, Aurora would ask me to go someplace quiet and remember. Listening to the I am or reciting scripture helped to calm me down. Now I choose on my own to remember, whether I am upset or not. The fact that she asked me if I am remembering must mean that she knows something is bothering me. After a while, I tell Aurora, "Father is wrong. I haven't heard you refer to your father as father in a long time. What is father wrong about? About going to Oak Ridge High next year. I know what you are reluctant to tell me. Patterson is where Marcelo belongs. There I will learn to be independent like Otero wants me to be. There is where I am learning to function just the way he wants Marcelo to function. He wants to talk to you when you get home. Be open to what he has to say. Perhaps he is right. I am open. I have thought about it more than you know, but he is not right about taking Marcelo out of Patterson. He was not in favor of you attending Patterson, but you have been there since first grade. He objected to your visits with Rabbi Herschel, but you have been seeing her every other week for 5 years now. He didn't approve of the sessions with Dr. Malone. He didn't want you living in the treehouse either, yet he allowed you to do all those things despite his misgivings. He was wrong about the benefit to Marcelo of all of those as well. Well, I am suggesting that maybe it is your turn to trust his way. At least be open to it. Just listen to him and trust. Do you trust your father? Do you trust that he wants to be the best for you? Trust is one of those abstract words that is hard for me to understand. Here I can substitute the word believe for trust, and it seems to work. I do believe that my father wants what is best for me. Yes, I say, but he is wrong nevertheless.